So, an email. Actually, I've gotten a couple of emails on this, and I decided to walk through. How you will solve. This is lab activity 2.1b. It's a Python. You're supposed to write a Python script that will take a value, which is probably number of days, and it will convert that value to years, weeks, and days, right? So when you think about it, let's follow the steps one by one. This is your Python script. We're using main.py. The first thing you want to do is prompt the user for, you know, the value that the user will enter. That so I'm not necessarily following the exact text here. But for me, I'm just going to say here, um, number of days equals input how many. My expectation is it will print out, the user will enter the number of days. The next thing I want to do, which is I think where people are getting confused with this, is how do you convert this number of days to years, weeks, and days? Well, in arithmetic, it's very simple and straightforward. If I give you 367 days, how many years are there? There's only 1 year, right? If I were to give you if I were to give you 800 and something days, there are 2 years, right? Because we're assuming a year is 365. So the way to get the year out of the number of days here is to basically divide the number of days that the user entered by 365. Ordinarily, this will give you a floating point number, which will be the actual number of years dot some extra floating point numbers. But all you care about is the whole number part of it. So let's see that in action. Um, this is going to be string at this point. So I'm going to do number of days equals int number of days. Of course, like I said in class, nothing stops you from putting your int around this. Okay, so to calculate years, watch this. We can do years equals number of days divided by 365. Then let's print years out. So Python 3 main.py. How many? Let me do 1000. Now this is not what I want. I want it to give me 2. How many? 365 times 3 is what? Oh yeah, that's 365 times 3. It's more than 1,000. Okay. So to make this give you just the 2 part of it, there are multiple ways you could do it, but the easiest way is this. Years equals int years. Okay? Let's run this again. 1000. So now I have my 2 stored in years. What is left? Well, the way to get what is left is doing this simple calculation here. Watch this. Number of days minus 2, no, minus years, not 2, because if the years could be a different value if someone were to enter 2000, 3000, or anything like that. So it's going to be years times 365. Number of days minus years times 365. Basically, what's happening here is, in our case, let's say one number of days was 1000. We are taking years is 2, so 2 times 365 2 times 365. So that's 730. We are saying 1000 minus 730. That's what's left over. It's like doing a modulus arithmetic, but not exactly. So we can store this arithmetic, the result of this arithmetic, we can store it back in number of days, but we don't want to do that because we want to keep number of days. Okay, so we're going to say what is left equals that. All right. Now we need to take what is left and see how many weeks are in this. So let's print what is left just for the fun of it. All right. What is left is 270. Now weeks equals to what? Equals to what is left divided by, there are 7 days in a week, divided by 7, right? Again, this has the potential of giving us floating point numbers. So what we want to do is to say weeks equals int weeks, okay? And we can print weeks. So let's run this again. 1000. So we have 2 years, 38 weeks. All right. Now, out of the 270, we got 38 weeks. Interesting. How many days are left? Well, let's do our math on the side. 38 times 7 is 266. So we have 4 days left. How do we get those 4 days? Similar to what we did earlier, similar to this arithmetic on line 10. We're going to do what is left minus weeks times 7. In this case, we're going to store it back in what is left. We can do that. Okay. So what is left minus weeks times 7? And what is left at this point is the number of days. So we could easily say days, DAYS, equals what is left. Of course, if you wanted, you could just, on line 16 here, you could just say days equals what is left minus, weeks times 7, either way. And at this point, you can do all your printout. Let me just print days here, just so you can see. 1000. So 1000 days will give us 2 years, 38 weeks, and 4 days. 2 years, 38 weeks, and 4 days. And you can go ahead and print it out, the nice way they want it here. Days you have been driving. So instead of my how many here, right, you will use days you have been driving. The person will enter 1000. Then at the end, after doing all this your calculations, you don't need all this print statement that I have here. Even if you can have them for, to help you as you're doing your development. But at the end, remove all this intermediate printing and just have this printout here. Oops. Okay. 1 second. I think how did my okay, yeah, because I clicked on this image. So just print out you have been driving 4 years, 2 weeks, 38 days, 4. Okay. Now, if you are able to get this printout, but your test is still failing, don't worry, submit it. Just send me an email, I'll grade it, I'll give you your grades. What you could be missing could be 1 space here or 1 comma there, but it's important that you get the result. Okay, the the true values. if this was 2000, that would be 5 years, 25 weeks, and no days. All right. So I hope this helps somebody. If you do have questions, of course, please don't hesitate to, you know, email me. But hopefully this helps somebody.